Army Brigadier General Shawn Harris. General, good morning to you, sir, and always good to have you on the show. What do you
Good
make?
morning.
That's pretty big news that this watchdog, it's not just the Trump administration anymore claiming that these independent inspectors will be coming to Iran. You now have this, watchdog confirming it as well. How significant is that in your eyes?
That is very significant. I would tell you, as I was preparing to come onto your show, I was hoping to be able to hear that the UN inspectors will be able to go in, because those actions will help us be able to keep peace all over the Middle East and actually answer a lot of questions. Do they have enrichment, nuclear capability or not?
But still, at the same time, Tehran has been, casting doubt on that. They're saying that is not true. We have made no commitments yet. So there's this huge disparity in messaging. What do you make of that mixed messaging, and what does that tell you about how talks are going behind closed doors?
Well, in these type situations, sometimes it could simply be a miscommunication in times from the United States all the way back over to Iran itself. But the key piece here is, when are they actually going to be scheduled? I think that's what we need to be watching to say, okay, yep, it's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? I think that's what we should be watching here in the next couple of days. And if it's scheduled, to make sure that they actually can show up and do their job.
And when you say do their job, I think there are a lot of people watching this segment right now, General, who have no idea what that is supposed to look like. What does an independent inspector who is inspecting nuclear stockpiles, what does that look like in practice?
In practice, bottom line, they come into the country. They have a list of different locations they want to go to. They actually get access to those locations, go in, look at everything they want to, and then at the same time, they be able to come back out and give the world a full report through the UN. So at the end of the day, these are things that Iran was doing before this war until we actually got into it. But hopefully they can get back in there and tell us exactly where we stand today.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, sir, taking us back to yesterday, the Senate just narrowly passed that war powers resolution on Tuesday. President Trump says it's poorly timed. He called it meaningless. He called those, 4 Republicans who broke with him on this vote, he called them losers. But with the U.S. and Iran now at the negotiating table, what's the point of limiting the president's ability to fight the war?
Well, I would tell you, as a candidate for Congress needed to do their job, and I'm glad they finally did. Plus, just because we're now in a ceasefire, that doesn't mean 60 days from now that we will not be back into another kinetic activity. And I think it's very important that Congress finally did their part to make sure that the administration has to come in and actually answer some questions. And as you know, the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of War is actually working his way around Congress now, actually asking for another $80 to $200 billion to support this particular war that we're in Iran.
Say the 60 days comes and goes. We have no long-term commitments or long-term peace agreements with Iran. They have not agreed to eradicate or relinquish their nuclear capabilities, their stockpile. What's your vote on how we should handle that then? I mean, do we go in and take that by force at that point?
I would say this, that decision will be 100% with the President of the United States. And as these 60 days are going by, and let me make sure your audience understand, I don't think this is going to get resolved in 60 days. The Iranians have a playbook that they know how to draw things out. I still think we're more than 3 to 4 months away to even get to a real answer. But if we ever get there, we have to go back kinetic. That's why we're going to keep these 50,000 troops there in the Middle East, and at the same time monitoring everything, that if the president makes a decision that we need to go back kinetic, he has the capability to make that happen.
Retired Army Brigadier General Shawn Harris, always a privilege and a pleasure to have you, sir. Thank you for your time and your insights.
Thank you very much.